Hey, whoa, there's stuff everywhere. There we go. Hello and welcome to another episode of JP's Product Pick of the Week. It's me, JP, and I am here with a very cool, very fun product pick. Thank you all so much for stopping by. Thanks everyone over in the YouTube chat as well as in our Discord. If you're wondering where the chat's happening, head to adafruit.it/Discord. You'll get an instant invite, and then head on over to the live broadcast chat channel. That's a lot of words. Now, let me send you somewhere that you may want to go to check out this show, and that is that URL, QR code and URL right there. That's where the product pick of the week is. And the reason I'm sending you there is that we have 50% off on this week's product pick. So you may want to pick one up or a few, and there's no coupon code or anything like that needed. You just need to buy it during the show. So we've got maybe 15, 20 minutes here to check out the product pick, during which time you may want to throw that in your cart and get ready to get that at a half off price. So before I tell you about the product pick, I'm going to have Lamore jump back just a little bit in time and show you her new segment. So take it away, Lady Ada.
This is the Lipo BFF, mostly because I couldn't come up with a better name in time. So this is sort of like a shield or a wing or a hat for cutie pies. So, we wanted to make a couple add-ons. One common add-on that people wanted was the ability to, especially for the Wi-Fi boards, to have a battery plug in and have the battery charge. We didn't have enough space on the cutie pie to add charging circuitry or a Lipo connector. But this little BFF solders onto the back and kind of gives you a lot of functionality. So there's the battery port, of course. You can use any 200 milliamp hour battery or larger. There's an on-off switch. So if you're portable, you don't have to unplug the battery to turn it on or off. There is the voltage from the battery is then dioded back into the 5-volt pin because there isn't like a separate battery in on the cutie pie or the shell that it's based off of. And there's a voltage divider on A2, which you can cut this little jumper if you want to cut the voltage divider. And the voltage divider lets you monitor the voltage on the 5-volt pin, not the battery of the 5-volt pin, which actually has a bit of a side effect that it lets you determine roughly whether the board is being charged or is running off of the battery, because you can, if the voltage on the 5-volt pin is above about 4.2 volts, it's the 5-volt power coming in from USB. If it's below 4.2 volts, it's most likely running off of the LiPo battery. You can see, turn it off, turn it on, it's running off of LiPo, plug it in, it knows it's running off of USB, unplug USB, it knows it's running off of LiPo again.
That's smart.
Yeah.
That's right. Well, let me grab one right here. I've got my down shooter. You saw this earlier. All right, so let's take a look at, hey, it's my best friend forever right there. This is my product pick of the week. It is the Lipo Charging BFF, Best Friend Forever add-on for the Cutie Pie. Now, this will work pretty much with any microcontroller that has a 5-volt in. That's what it's sending over the regulator off of the battery. But it's designed specifically for the Xiao pinout and form factor, which is the same as the Cutie Pie and maybe some others. And here's how it works. You take your BFF and you take a Cutie Pie and you just set them back to back like that. Now you can see this example here, I've got some header pins on there. You can do it with socket and pin. You can do it just pin to pin straight through. You can even, if you're careful, sandwich them right up to each other using the castellated pads. If I go to the overhead, you'll see this. This is pretty cool. This is about as minimal as I imagine you could get it. So it just looks like a double stuffed Oreo, big thick board there. And they work just like that, back to back. So there is an M0 Cutie Pie, which has nothing on the bottom side, so it's perfect for this. And there's the USB port on the Cutie Pie. There is the battery port right there on our BFF. Now, the cool things about the BFF. One, this gives you a JST plug for adding a LiPo or lithium-ion battery. it has a little on-off switch there that you can use to turn on and off the battery power to the board. So if you're not plugged into USB and charging, but just running off of battery power, this is a really handy on-off switch for your microcontroller project. We can also monitor over the pin A2 if we have either the battery or the USB running it, just based on differences in voltage through a voltage divider. Or you can slice that little jumper you see right there, that little trace between those two pads, in order to remove that sensing from A2 and just give you the A2 pin back on your QT Py, which you may want because there's not a lot of pins available on a QT Py. Now let me show you this in action, and I've got a really cool demo here, as well as kind of a weird off-brand use that our friend Steve, OK, you're on, in the chat asked about. So I want to show both of these here. So let's start with this one, my little double stuff friend here. I'm just going to zoom out a bit and let me refocus here. That's not focus. This will be, that's better. And what I've got, a battery, and I've got a little NeoPixel strip, and I happened to have connected this up to a Stemma QT cable, even though NeoPixels don't run over I2C. I, in code, have told the serial clock pin to act as just the NeoPixel pin. So there's a fourth wire that's not connected. But essentially, this is a neat way to not have to solder on anything extra in order to use some NeoPixels. And then I'm going to take this, and I have it in the off position. I'll plug in my JST connector for this battery here. Now if I plug, let's go ahead and turn this on. So if I go and flip this on switch, you'll see we're going to get a nice little flame demo here. This is some really cool flame code that my good friend Toddbot wrote. And I've got a really nice diffuser for it here that I built, just some foam and LED acrylic there. And so this makes, let me go ahead and switch to the main view here. This makes for really great wearable projects. So if you want to use a QT Py, you want to have battery power, you want to have that on-off switch, you want to be able to charge your battery in between things if it's a cosplay thing or something like that, this will work great for it. Now I can just stick this in my pocket and I have a very cool little fiery, let me set that in there again. Now I have a cool little fiery accessory. So great for wearable types of projects. Also great for wireless projects. If you're using something like an ESP32 based QT Py, excellent for giving you a little on-the-go wireless project. You'll also see here, if I take this USB-C cable and plug that into the QT Py, that we have a little, oh, I just did that. All right, how about now? Yeah, my audio's back. I'm so sorry about that. So I had batteries die on my mic pack. So let me know in the chat when you lost that. Lost it from just before the Pico. Okay. So hopefully you saw the demo of the little flame, cool little flaming demo here, and that's the Pico plugged back to back. This is the Pico M0. Let me go to down shooter. This is the Pico, or rather the Cutie Pie M0 plugged right into the BFF, and I've soldered those with the castellated pads. Got this nice little NeoPixel demo running here. Battery power, can turn that on and off with the power switch, and we can also charge that right off of the USB. So the other demo, the one that I think I was talking about after my microphone died, sorry about that again, that is this question from Steve. Okay, you're on in the chat. Can we drive power to and charge a battery with the BFF and a Pico RP2040? And the answer is yes. So there's a VSys pin, which is a 5-volt pin, and a ground pin, and those will work perfectly. The next pin on here, I think, is my A2. Is that right? Sorry, this is VSys, this is ground. These are blank. These are actually not wired up on the board, so I'm using them for mechanical support. And these pins over here, one of them is A2, the others are not used, and that allows me to still read the, whichever Pico pin that is, that allows me to read that voltage if you wanted to do that. But if I go ahead and plug this in, there you go. You can see this is one of these 420 milliamp hour batteries that Lady Ada had designed for our feather boards, but it works pretty well here. It doesn't fit between those perfectly, but it is pretty good fit for this use. And you'll see here, if I flip on the power switch on my BFF, I have some code running on the Pico that just lights up. It's onboard LED. Actually, that LED doesn't light up by default, so this has got code running, CircuitPython running on there. Other questions we had about this will pretty much run any board that takes in a 5-volt. It's just whether or not it'll physically match up the pins as well as this. So you could certainly run an Arduino off of that, which was a question we had over in the YouTube chat. Let's see. What else? I think that is it. So head on over to that page right there. We still have them in stock. Let me refresh. Yeah, we still have them in stock. Half price, $2.48. You don't need to use a coupon code or anything like that. Just simply go over there to that site, throw some in your cart, and you will get them at this tremendous price. And I'm not sure which parts cut out, but I want to thank again Steve for that question about powering other boards, particularly Pico RP2040, as well as Todd for the cool flaming LED code that I used here with this little LED stick. So there you can see, it's a great way. In fact, I think the last time we had a board that had a really nice convenient on-off switch was the Gemma, and I don't think we could power the Gemma as easily off of a battery. I might be forgetting, but the Cutie Pie RP2040 or Cutie Pie ESP32, great for Wi-Fi, really popular boards, really nice to set them up as some sort of a wearable, some sort of a sensor-based project that's talking over Wi-Fi maybe, and you want to plug it in sometimes, unplug it, not lose any info, not have it restart. This will work great for that because you've got that little battery on there that could act as your full-time power or could act as your battery backup. And yes, there's a second me up there in the corner. There we go. Let me check and see if there are any other questions. Nothing over in YouTube. And see, Grover has a great idea over in our Discord. He says, can you plug the BFF into your battery, into your mic pack so you don't lose power? I wish I could. That's a good idea. What's it running off of? 2 AA's. So not 5 volts, but maybe with a regulator. All right. Let's see. 915 megahertz asks, does it boost or bath provide the output of the LiPo? It does boost it. It's boosting it to 5. So the LiPo comes in at around, what, 3.7 volts? Sometimes 4.2 when it's fully charged. The BFF is boosting that to 5 volts, or just under 5 volts, I think. let's see, any other questions? I think that's going to do it. Yeah, so head on over here to pick some up. And you can use these in a lot of different microcontroller projects, particularly these beauties right here. Actually, that's a nice shot you can see on the top there of the sort of standard header pins that it comes with, and you just snap those off and solder. I think it's 7 on each side, and that makes the connections that you need to make. And also, since it has the castellated pads, you can do some sneaky things which still leave some holes open. All right, I think that is going to do it for the product pick. Let me use this one right here. I'll keep my cool wearable there. Product pick of the week is my best friend and yours forever. It is the lipo charging BFF add-on for Cutie Pie. And I forgot to make a little hanger thing for it, but I can plug into that battery as our hanger for the time being. Set that right there. Thanks everyone for stopping by. For Adafruit Industries, I'm John Park. This has been JP's product pick of the week. And be sure to stop by tomorrow morning for 3D Hangouts, and then show and tell and ask an engineer or ask an ear later in the day. On Thursday, I have John Park's workshop, and then Friday we'll have a deep dive with Tim. So lots and lots of live streaming coming up. Thanks everyone. Bye-bye.